Hello my good people, welcome back to this tutorial. So today I'll be showing you how I use my scraps to make a jacket. This jacket is a kimono jacket with a drawstring. So this is quite simple. So using my pattern paper, I'm going to show you how. So from this end, I simply measure the length of my sleeve, which is about 18 inches, and I took this measurement down, serving as my vertical measurement. So this jacket is going to be a very short one. As you already know, I'm using fabric scraps to make this. So I'm using this 18 inches at the moment, but while I'm cutting out from the fabric, I'll determine how long the sleeve is. So from the topmost end, I went down by an inch, and I'm going in from this end by my neck width measurement, which is 4 inches. So then I'm going down by 1.5, which is the back neck depth. Now I'm connecting the the neck width to that 1 inch I marked at the length of the sleeve, and I'm connecting it like so, and I'm creating the neckline curve for the back neckline. So after this, I'm simply going ahead to mark. So from this point, I'm marking my armhole measurements approximately 10 inches. This is my armhole circumference divided by 2 plus about an inch or 2 inches for ease. This is a jacket. So at this point, I'm going to place my bust measurement plus ease allowance of 4 divided by 4. So now I'm going to take this measurement downwards. Remember, our waist is supposed to be smaller than this, but because it's a free jacket, I'm simply taking my bust measurement downwards since it's the highest horizontal measurement. So now from this point, I'm marking 8 inches to be the opening of my sleeve, and I'm using a curve to connect it to this line. So this is quite simple. So now let's go back to the neckline. So since this is a jacket, I'm going in inwards by 1 inch from the neck width measurement. So in total is 5 inches for the neck width measurement. Then from this end, for the front neckline, I'm going out by 1 inch from the center front. So this is to ensure that the armhole, the center front is not close together. There will be a little gap. So now I'm going to use a curved line. Okay, I'm adjusting the back neckline to connect it to the new neck width. Then from the new neck width, I'm going to create this curve, creating the front neckline. So I'm simply cancelling out the first back neckline we made, and now I'm going to use my marker pen to highlight all the lines so that it will be visible. So this is the front neckline. This is the back neckline. This is the center front, the side seams connected to the armhole, the sleeve opening, and then the long shoulder connecting to the neck width. So that's just about this. So I'm simply going to label. This is the back neckline, the center front, and that's just all, guys. So now I'm going to cut it out. I'll cut out the back first, then I'll now cut off the neckline for the front, then place it on my fabric and cut. So as you can see, I struggled with my fabric, and I ended up folding in part of the sleeve length because my fabric was not enough to accommodate that length. So I simply folded it in, and then I cut it out. So I'm currently cutting out the back piece, and as you can see, it's on a fold. So I'm going to notch the center front and the center back, then I'm going to cut out the back, the front rather. So I've done this, and it's 2 pieces for the front and 1 for the back. Now I've gone ahead to cut out the lining and ironed it out. So what I need to do now is to join the front, the main fabrics together at the shoulder seam and at the side seam, repeating the same for my lining. So I'll use my pin to pin out the edges. Then I'm going to join it at the shoulder line and the side seam. So I'll do the same for the main fabric and for my lining as well. So I made a mistake right here, but I'm going to explain this later on. So I left a space at the shoulder of the lining where I will turn out the fabric inside out. So I would advise you watch to the end because I'll be making the correction towards the end of this video. So I pinned out my lining, but I decided to leave a space at the shoulder line, one of the shoulder line, where I'll use it to turn it inside out. But after sewing this, I discovered that I could not do it right. So not to confuse you, I'm simply going to just continue with the voiceover, but when we get to the point where I corrected the mistakes, I will let you know. So what I did here was I joined it at the shoulder line and left this space, as you can see, and completely closed up the other parts and notched the curved areas so that it will relax very well. So the next thing to do is to join the front side, the good side, the main fabric, and my lining at the necklines. So I will simply pin it all around at the neckline, right side facing right side of the lining facing right side of the main fabric, and then pin it all around the neckline from the center front all around to the back neckline, and again over again past the shoulder seams down to the front neckline. So I'll sew this and top stitch and show you. So I've done that, as you can see. So now I'm simply going to notch the 2 points, the points I've sewn already. So I'm going to notch it so that it will be able to relax very well when I flip it over and iron it. So I've gone ahead to top stitch it, and thus I flipped it over. Okay, I'm going to top stitch right now. So I flipped it over the seams over to the side of the lining, and then I top stitched. As you can see, it came out very nice and neat. So I ended up trimming out the excess part of the seam I made. So now, as you can see, it came out really nice. So the next thing to do is to join it at the side seams and the hemline. So now I'm going to join the hemline. So as you can see, I've opened up my stitches, and I'm going to pin the lining to the main fabric the same way I did for the neckline, but at this point I'm doing it all around the hemline. So one thing you should be careful while making this is to ensure that all points align together. The side seam of the main fabric should align with the side seam of the lining so that there will not be any overlap. So here again is another thing I did, which I undid by the end of the video. So I think you understand when we get there. So what I'm doing right now is just to pin around the sleeve, and I'm going to sew. So this is, the lining is inside and the main fabric is outward, so I'm simply opening my stitches, my seams, and then aligning it to the lining. So I used hemming gum to sew this part, so that when I turn it over and stitch it, iron it, it will relax carefully. So now, going moving forward, I use that point I open up at the shoulder to flip it over. Then I got the surprise of my life. So at this point I realized that turning it over this way did not come out nice. It came out in one silly form that I cannot even explain. But I struggled with this, and at the end of the day I had to I had to undo some stitches, unpick some stitches. I had to pick some stitches and try severally before I figured it out. So at this point I was frustrated. As you can see, the lining came out separately from the jacket, and I was wondering what I did wrong. To this moment I still don't know what I did that was wrong. So at the end of the day I went back, I started over, I sent it back to the wrong side, pulled it out again, then looked at the stitches to understand it better. So at the end of the day I ended up cutting out the sleeves. So I cut out the seams I made at the sleeve, because I was actually very lazy to start picking the seams again. So I trimmed out, I cut off the seams at the sleeve, where I joined the sleeve of the lining to the sleeve of the main fabric. So through that hole, I now used it to turn it over, and it came out nice. So this is it. I used that seam to flip it over, and I got it right this time. So now the next thing I did was to um iron out my all the sides that I made, the hemline and the rest. Then for for the sleeve I ended up using a band, because as you can see my plan of doing it without a band did not come in as I wanted. So I used a band to turn it over. So I used a band of 4 inches on a fold, and the length was the circumference of the sleeve of the jacket. So I used it to turn it over. So after turning it over I gave it a good press, and as you can see it came out nice after all my struggle. And now I'm going to put in my eyelet. So I made it out of camera because I already have a video where I showed you how to put your eyelet. So I made a rope for this, and as you can see it came out well. Thank you so much guys, thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. And if you know a better way to turn out a fabric inside out, you can actually leave me a link to a video, or you can give me direction on how to do this. Thank you for watching. See you in my next one. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Bye.